plenty of pizza back there if somebody wanted seconds, or in some cases, TJ, in your case, if you want thirds, or whatever you want to do back there. We're very excited today to have our Liberty Choir here, and so our students are out in the hallway. I'm going to ask Mr. Coleman, would you go out, or no, Mr. Quackenbush is walking right that way, see if they're ready. Told me they were, so we'll have our every month we have a group come in from a school, and today we have a Liberty Choir under Mrs. Wiseman, and so our students will come up front here. As they make their way up front, I will mention to you that we have many programs in the Newark City Schools that our kids can become involved in. This is just one. And so some of you elementary students that are sitting there and you're finishing your pizza and you watch these students walk on, and you middle school students up through high school, we have a play tonight at 7 o'clock at the high school. So we have plays to be involved in, we have music programs, a lot of fine arts, a lot of art programs, and a lot of athletic programs. And we asked and hope that you will become engaged in some program here in our district, or some programs. And so I'm going to turn this over to Mrs. Wiseman. Let's welcome the students.
I leave the microphone on. You only hear half of my choir. I'm so sorry. We can just turn it around.
Going down to Carol.
before we go on to our next song, I do want to mention that I am very pleased to have Liberty's 7th grade Citizen of the Month, Shayla Gordon, as part of our choir, and I am very proud of her, as I know all of Liberty is, so I wanted to take a second and point that out. Students also had the privilege this week of participating in our Veterans Day Assembly. And for those of you who weren't present, it was a wonderful assembly put on by all of the students at Liberty Middle School, and we were very pleased to be a small part of that. So we'd now like to honor all of the veterans, and certainly any veterans who are currently in this room, with our final piece, An American Salute.
Marching home.
Thank you, Mrs. Wiseman, and young ladies at Liberty. Wonderful job, don't you think so? Let's do another one. Again, we mentioned a little bit ago, a lot of good leaders, a lot of good kids in our district. Lots of programs for kids to become involved in. And you can see how well these girls sound. Show of hands, how many of you are going to participate in choir in high school? You think a lot of you probably will? Not everybody? Man. Get your hands up now. Grades are coming out soon. Right? So, but we appreciate our students and their efforts. So as they leave, let's give them one last final round of applause. And thank you, girls, for coming over.
Make a shirt right turn.
Okay, we also would like to thank senior Megan. Raise your hand over here. Megan Lewis is a senior who is doing the video taping today. And so I'm going to bring up, you will be on channel 19 throughout the month, a couple times a day. Mr. Philauer, probably, a few times a day. So when you come up here and get the microphone, make sure you speak into the microphone, introduce your parents. And is anybody nervous about doing that? I get nervous every single time. I know how you feel. But just take a few deep breaths. This is your time to shine, because you'll be at Kroger's or somewhere and somebody will come up to you and say, I saw you on Citizen of the Month. So you want to make sure you speak into the microphone. But we appreciate the students of Channel 19 and what they do. Another great program that kids can become involved in here at high school. Each month we have a sponsor that supports our kids and supports our luncheons and also supports our community throughout the year. I'd like to ask Mr. Harris, Mr. Stan Harris, to come up front. Young ladies, would you help me with that? Mr. Harris is from PNC Bank, and they sponsor this every year. I don't know how many, do you know how many years you've been doing this?
I think I've been
About 7 years, and so each year they do. And Mr. Harris also has is married to Mrs. Harris, Mrs. Jean Harris, who just retired as a superintendent of the Columbus City Schools. And so he knows a little bit about the school business, and I know his wife, and she's a long-time administrator in the Columbus district, and so he knows what it takes to support kids, and so we appreciate your support. And would you like to say a few words?
I'll be very brief. Just want to congratulate all the student citizens of the month and their parents, and I certainly want to encourage our educators to keep up the great work. Thank you. We're very pleased to be a part of this.
Sam, please take a poster back to the bank and let everybody know how much we appreciate their support. Yep, thank you again. Appreciate it. Okay, before we bring the students up, we're kind of go around the room and introduce some people here, and we'll just start right over here with Vicki and Gloria. Please raise your hands. Good-looking guy between them, Seth Roy. He's moving out of the way real quick. Vicki Howe, Gloria Wilson organized this event and put this on, and they do 1,000 other things in our district for us. Let's give them a hand. We appreciate what they do. And since we're on that side of the room, we'll start with some of our directors and coordinators. We have Mindy Vaughn, our director of special elementary curriculum and state and federal programs. Seth Roy, our community outreach. So if you get communication, Twitter feeds and those type of things, Seth is usually behind that. Did you retweet my
We did.
We already, yes. So you can follow us on Twitter for all district activities and that big one, school cancellations or delays. There you go, kids. I got a lot of high school kids follow me on that, believe me. Barbara Quackenbush, Barb, please stand and remain standing. Barbara is a graduate of Newark, grew up here, father of a firefighter in town, and was a principal and is our director of personnel. So go back to Maura Horgan in the back, director of secondary education, also an English teacher, assistant principal, and now a director for the last 3 years. I don't want to miss anybody as I'm scanning through there. I'll get you in a second, Tom. Coming up through here, Jeff Anderson, our school treasurer. Jeff, please stand up. I point this out every month because a lot of school treasurers stay in their office and just put dollar signs and put the money where it belongs. Jeff is a school treasurer who gets out and about and supports students. And Jeff, we appreciate that support of our students from the Treasury Department. So let's give, hold on. Gemma Zimmerman. I do that every month. So Gemma, please stand up. Who handles our before or after school programs and everything else we throw at Gemma, which is a lot of things. And she does a fantastic job. So let's give them a hand, please. Saved them for last because they're special. We have our special ed directors over here, wonderful ladies. Linda Price, please stand up. And Jean Brown, please stand up. Let's give them a hand. Thank you. And I'm really excited because when I came here, we just had directors pop in and out. And I asked all of them to come in here and be here as you're arriving and get a chance to talk to our parents and students because we want you to know how special it is to be in this room and how much we appreciate the fact that you're in this room. Again, 6,400 students in our district. And how many did you say? 28 students in here today. And I think that's special. So students, please stand up at your table. Let's give our students a round of applause. We talk daily in our district about every one of us has to be a good leader, not just the superintendent, not just the principal in your building, not just Mr. Blind, a board member. Every student, every staff member, and we have good leadership from our parents also in our community. So we really appreciate your leadership, students. So thank you. Okay, at this time, if we could, because they'll introduce themselves at one point, but I do want our principals to stand up at the building, please. Our administrators, stand up, the building administrators at your table. And I'm going to ask Mr. John Johnson over here, who is representing John Klim today, to also stand up. One of our teachers did. Is there another teacher that's covering today for Mrs. Neighbors? I know could not be here today. And so this is a great group of people, very good group of administrators in this district that are tremendous leaders and really care about their buildings and their kids. And they put a lot of long hours in. And that's not just the principal standing, that also goes to Mr. Johnson over here. How many years you been in the district, John? 28 years of service to the district. And I love going in John's classroom because it's the same thing every time I go in there. The students are engaged, they're energized, and John is up moving around, and really you can tell. Look at his face there. You can tell he enjoys what he does. And so let's give this group a hand. Wonderful people. Okay, we are going to start with, McGuffey, but not yet, please. Ms. Harmon. Yeah, hang on. Because I'm going to bring up Mr. Blind to pass out certificates and awards. And each month we have a board member or two stop by. And Mr. Blind's been on the board now. It's his second stint on the board, and he'll be on a few more years and probably run again and a few more after that. Right, Tom? Possibly. But I say this every month about board members. It's a tough job, one of the toughest jobs in the community, especially in the school business today. Every district needs good leaders, and Tom certainly is a good leader. He's a graduate of Newark, I believe, am I correct? Graduate of Granville that came over to Newark. As soon as I said that, it's like, wait a second, you're one of them. But Tom has had his kids graduated from Newark. He's owned some businesses here in Newark, and he's been invested in the community for a long time. So let's give Tom a hand and thank him for what he does. We're going to have Mr. Blind stand over here. And because this is our second try at the Roosevelt Building in this room of this, each month we tweak how we do this a little bit until we find out the right way to do it. And in the past, when we rented some places out, we would come in one side and go out the other side. Well, you can see that can't happen. So what we learned last month, and the McGuffey students, so that's great to start with McGuffey because they're all good citizens, correct?
Absolutely.
And they're good leaders. And when Mrs. Harmon introduces the students, you come to the microphone. I want you to speak loudly so you can be heard on channel 19. She'll look that camera right in the eye and tell who you have with you, mom and dad, their names, because dad might be somewhere and somebody say, hey, you're Ted. I saw you on the thing, right? Is that Ted? No, it's not. It's Ted. Okay, good. So in any event, here, and then as you get introduced, then you'll go from the microphone, then you'll go over to Mr. Blind, and then you'll stay over with Mr. Blind. Now, that's a big change for you repeaters in here. You stay with Mr. Blind over there in the corner. When McGuffey's done, the McGuffey students will leave and sit down, and then the Legend students will come out, okay? So we'll try that today so we're not bumping each other in the head and those kind of things. So let's start with Mrs. Harmon, McGuffey Elementary.
I'm setting the bar high. I'm Martha Harmon, principal at McGuffey Elementary, and I'm very, very proud to be here today. Thank you to PNC for sponsoring this wonderful luncheon. It certainly is a highlight of most of our activities that we do every month. So, but we are very, very proud to introduce our Citizens of the Month. And the first one is our fifth grader, Morgan Rafi. I think I said that right. I tend to say Rafi. So. And Morgan will introduce her guest, and she will tell something about herself.
I'm Morgan, and I'm here with my mom, Tracy, and my grandma, Lori. And something about me is that I like to ride horses.
And Grandma that's here with her, we've had how many of your children, Lori, at McGuffey? Yeah, so she's been around there as long as I have, I believe. So we love having her family. Our fourth grade Citizen of the Month, and as you can tell, she's smiling. She smiles all the time. I can slap her in the face and she'd smile on me. So, but this is Haley Cochran, and Haley will come up and introduce her mom. Her dad couldn't be here today, but he cannot wait to watch it on Channel 19. So,
My name's Haley Cochran. Today I have my mom Chanel with me, and something you should know about me is today's my birthday.
and next we'll have Ellen Cooper. I can introduce my friend Ellen from Legend Elementary.
My name is Ellen Cooper. I'm the principal at Legend Elementary. Very happy to be here today. I have the pleasure of sitting next to Mr. Harris at lunchtime, and thank you very much for our wonderful luncheon that your company has sponsored. I have two terrific students to introduce to you. The first is our 5th grade student of the month. Her name is Madison Klinker, and she's here with her mom and dad.
My name is Madison. This is my mom Marlene and my dad Kent. I have 9 pets and I love animals.
And our 4th grade citizen of the month from Legend Elementary is Christopher Pound, and he's here with his mom and dad, who he will introduce to you.
I'm here with my mom Minnie, and I'm here with my dad Bill, and I like to play basketball. As you can see, Mr. Summers is my coach.
Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Peg Dunlap. I am the very proud principal of Hillview Elementary. I have 2 awesome, we are calling them Leaders of the Month. We started the Leader in Me program at Hillview, which we're very proud of. My 4th grade student's going to go first. I have Olivia Summers, 4th grade student, and I'm going to let her introduce herself and introduce who she brought and tell us a little bit about herself.
I'm Olivia, and I brought my dad, TJ, and my mom, Megan, and I like to dance at Garrett Dance Studios.
Great job, Olivia. And my 5th grade leader of the month is Brendan Stiltner. And Brendan's going to tell us a little bit about himself. He's a little nervous, but he'll do good.
My name is Brendan Stiltner. I'm here with my mom and dad, John Stiltner and Patty Stiltner. And I like to play sports.
Great job. Mr. Johnson.
Hello, I'm John Johnson. I'm representing John Clem today for Mrs. Neighbors, who couldn't be here. She regrets that. Our 5th grade citizen of the month is Russell Mitchell. I'm going to let Russell come on over and introduce his guests.
I am Russell Mitchell, and I brought my mom and my dad. My mom is Erica, and my dad is John, and I like to play sports.
Thank you, Russell. Our 5th grade citizen of the month is Emma Compton, and Emma's going to come over and introduce her guests.
My mom is Wendy Compton, and my dad is David Compton, and I dance at the Dance Center.
Thank you very much.
Good afternoon. My name is Chet Coleman. I'm the very proud principal of Cherry Valley Elementary, and brought a couple outstanding young ladies with me today. And first of all, though, I'd like to thank all the parents in here for the outstanding job that you do with your children each and every day, and we really appreciate all your support that you give us. But our first representative here from Cherry Valley is Miss Grace Fry. She's going to come up and tell you a little bit about herself and introduce her guests today.
This is my mom, Molly, and this is my dad, Bill, and I like to dance.
Thank you, Grace. And next is Miss Tori Mooney.
Hi, I'm Tori. This is my dad, Adam, and this is my mom, Deanna. And my dad is currently mayor of our town, Alexandria. And I like to take challenges at life and take them on.
Thank you, Tori. And, you know, as we reflect on all the students coming through today, we talk about our report card that we get and the value added that was just released. But nowhere on the report card, and I don't want to rain on Mr. Serena's parade, but because he'll talk a little bit about it, I'm sure, much longer than I'm going to. But is there anywhere on the report card that measures the outstanding citizens that we have here in the Newark City schools? I don't think so. And in my opinion, Mr. Uke I think he agrees with me that, you know, the social aspect of all this being together and socializing with everybody is every bit as important as the academic end of it. So thank you and have a great day.
Good afternoon. I'm Sarah Burles. I'm the building principal at Carson Elementary. And I want to thank Mr. Harris as well for your continued service to Newark City Schools. I'm going to piggyback on Chet's comment just a little bit because he's right. Not everything is counted. And there are things that we count highly at Carson Elementary, and that is community service, such as the PNC Bank has done here. Community involvement. With community service, it's not only the students but the staff. I want to give a little shout out to the staff today, and if you're willing to give some blood, come on over. Today we have a blood drive going on until 6 o'clock. Red Cross is in need of blood coming into the holidays, as well as our staff also serves dinner at the Salvation Army on Sundays and takes care of the coats, sorting out coats and distributing coats to needy families in the area, and also works at the Lookup Center serving as well. That is a part of our Cub Club requirement, is that there is also service learning. And this young man is one of our Cub Club members. Josh Cade is a Cub Club member. He is one of the most reliable students at Carson Elementary, and I am proud and honored to introduce him. This is Mr. Josh Cade, and he's here with his parents.
I am with my mom and dad today, and one thing I think you should know about me is I have two little brothers and one little sister.
Our second citizen had a situation in the family where the brother went into the hospital, so we'll catch her next month.
Ben Franklin comes up, I'll just, as we got the second half getting ready. John Davis, you're on deck. If you haven't followed, so when somebody gets done, you can bring your group up. But a lot of pressure on you, John.
Good afternoon. My name is Dina Cable. I'm the building principal at Ben Franklin Elementary. I'm so pleased to be here with these great citizens today and all of you. It's great to look out and see some former Ben Franklin students in the crowd honored today as they've moved on to middle school. And our first guest today is Mako Loudermilk. He's our 5th grade representative. Mako, come on over, introduce your guest, and tell us something about yourself.
I have my mom and dad, Liz and Russ, and I like riding bikes.
And our 4th grade representative is Jessica Archer. Jessica, go ahead and tell us about your guest and about yourself.
I'm here with my mom, Terry, and my dad, Michael. I like reading and writing.
Good afternoon. My name is Cynthia Baker, and I'm the Dean of Students at Wilson Middle School. I'd like to first thank Mr. Harris and PNC Bank for sponsoring us today, and also for Newark City Schools for giving us this opportunity to share with you 3 of our outstanding young ladies at Wilson Middle School. Our veteran representative, our 8th grade student, is Miss Cora Philibon.
Hi, I'm Cora. This is my dad, Mark, and my mom, Deborah, and I play the flute.
Cora is also an outstanding office aide for us 3rd period every day. Our 7th grade representative is Benny Orr. She's at the table with her grandmother and her father. And Benny is an outstanding student. She is one of our leading academic students in the 7th grade. Oh, her father's
I was going to say the same thing you just said. Benny's having a sudden and extreme case of stage fright. So on her behalf, I'd like to say my name is Benny Orr. I'm a 7th grader at Wilson, and I do that.
6th or 7th grade girls.
That's me. And my favorite subject is any of those in which I can take time during class and draw pictures.
Thank you.
And our newest member of the Wilson family is Miss Desiree Van Valkenburg, our 6th grade representative.
Hi, I'm Desiree, and I'm here with my mom, Donnie, and I'm in choir, and I love music.
And good afternoon. My name is Diane Henry, very proud principal of Liberty Middle School. Again, thank you to Park National. Thank you all of the parents that are sitting here for your support. Your students would not be here without your care and your support of what we do in our schools. I want to start with our 8th grade representative from Liberty Middle School. This is Cody Neubauer, and he will introduce his parents.
I'm here with my mom and dad, Sarah and Chris Neubauer, and my favorite sport is baseball.
Thank you. And you've already met this young lady. She was here in the choir. This is Shayla Gordon, our 7th grade representative.
Hi, I'm Shayla. I came with my dad, Tony, and as you can see, I love to sing.
And representing our 6th grade is Ciela Tony, and I'll let her introduce her guests.
My name is Ciela, and I came here with my dad, Jeremy, and my little baby brother, Quentin, and I play the violin.
And congratulations to our Liberty Citizens of the Month, and our choir did a fabulous job. I was very honored to bring them here today. Thank you.
Am I following you? Thank you, Diane. My name is Tom Serino, and I'm the proud principal at Heritage Middle School. First of all, I would like to, I want to hand out a lot of thank yous. Last month, I started off with turning over the duties, and this is a privilege to be here. But I turned it over to Mr. Fickus, our Dean of Students, and I wanted him to get to enjoy the same feelings that we all get sitting in this room. A lot of times, you know, the deans don't get to make it. I know Ms. Baker just came up and she gets to say a few words, and it makes you feel good in your heart when you get to do that. But Mr. Fickus, being a Dean of Students, he got called out at the last second, and so, you know, now I'm back up here on the podium, and it's nice. I know that Gloria was real excited when she heard I was coming back. Okay. She's my biggest fan. She always teases me. We like to tease each other. But the thank yous that I want to give out and the respect that I want to give out, there's always a fine line. There's a fine line between boasting and giving recognition to the people that worked so hard and deserve it. And so, you know, a lot of times I come up here and I do a promo, and I want to thank Mr. Ute, because Mr. Ute, he basically, from the first time I met him, he just let me be me, and he let me to embrace the position how I wanted to. And with that being said, where I'm going with this little story, this little promo is, maybe some of you have got to see the Heritage Middle School made the front page of the Advocate. And, you know, it just warmed our heart, because it said things that you know, that maybe people get tired of hearing me say. All right, but I feel as the representative that I always want to promote our students, our staff, our school, and the things that we've accomplished. And so the Advocate went out there, and we were on the front page of the Advocate, and that doesn't happen all that often. A lot of times there's negative things that come across in education. I know Mr. Ute and I talk about that all the time. That just seems like, man, you know, we make, not just at Newark, but in education, you make one little slip up or something happens, and you catch the news, and that's all part of it. It comes with the territory. But this time it was something really nice, and we wanted to embrace and thank the Advocate for all the nice things they said about us. We need to give the thanks where it belongs. And I'll get serious here for a second, and I don't want to switch gears on you. But I want you to know I thank God every day for the success that we have at Heritage Middle School, and that every day that I walk in that school, okay, I know personally, and so do, and I'm sure a lot of people out here do too, I pray. I pray for God's guidance, and I pray for the welfare of our students. And it's something we have to take very serious in education today. And I know when you drop your kids off at front of our schools, we all know where your heart's at and where your mind's at, and it is with us too. So I give credit where credit belongs, and it's through prayer for me, and I want to thank God. And so I just needed to say that, because the success that we had is not a one-man show. And if in the article I said, I'm just one person, I'm one piece of the puzzle. That's it. Okay, and the success we've had has obviously been driven from up above. I want to give thanks to the parents, the students, and the staff at Heritage Middle School. They have done an outstanding job for a long time, and the recognition needs to go to them for all the service that they have given us. Okay, so we get to enjoy it and embrace it in this room. But parents and students and staff, I can't thank you enough for what you've contributed for Heritage Middle School. It would be wrong if I didn't mention the feeder schools. I noticed that Mark Fullen says something all the time, and I'm going to play off of Mark when he says, you know, our students graduating at the high school, and there's a lot of nice things. There's a lot of pressure on the high school students and staff and principal, because that, as Mr. Ute always says, that, you know, that's where the light ends up. It's the end of the K through 12, but it's a K through 12 project. It's a K through 12 project. And I feel the same way for middle school. So I want to thank all the feeder schools, okay, that feeds into Heritage. It's so nice to be able to, that the students already know what to expect. They're coming to Heritage Middle School, and the parents again, and the students are so well prepared, and that comes from the principals from the top down. And it just happens to be that we were next door to Carson Elementary for so long, but Sarah Burles, you know, I can't say enough about her and what she does at Carson, and what she sends us. And Sarah, you're very special, and you've done it for years, and I know that your heart's always been there, and you pass that character education on to your kids, and it comes up through Heritage, and it just makes our job a lot easier, and I want to thank you for that. I want to thank everyone that sent the emails, the texts, and the cards. I told my wife it's humbling and it's overwhelming when you get that kind of respect back from your peers, and they have something nice to say about your school. All right, and how hard your kids have worked and your staff works. It's nice when you get those things. We've gotten recognition from as far as Utica, Johnstown, Lakewood, but it means the most from the people in this room. Okay, your cards, your emails, and everything, it just meant so much to us. I talked to my wife about that. She's also in education. So everybody in the room, I want to thank you for your kindness and how you contacted us. It just means a lot when it comes from your own peers, from your own town. Now, the most important part of this is our Citizens of the Month, okay? Like Mr. Ute says, it's the cream of the crop. And our children, we have a lot of, just like everybody in this room, we have a lot of good students, but for these students to be chosen is something special. So I'm going to go in order, all right? All right, because if I don't, Gloria will holler at me. I don't want Gloria to holler at me. We're going to start out with the 8th grade, Jed Sherrick.
I'm here with my mom, Stacy, and one thing I like about Heritage is one team, one heartbeat.
Our next student will be our 7th grade student, Camden Nicholson.
I'm here with my mom, Carrie, and my stepdad, Lee, and I play the viola and orchestra.
And last but not least, our 6th grader, Kenneth Gant.
My name is Kenneth. I'm here with my mom and my dad, and I like science.
Mr. Ute?
Okay, Heritage. Okay, everybody. My pleasure to introduce the high school principal, Mr. Fullen, who 6 years ago, our high school graduation rate was at 70 and 71%. Last year was at 86%. So, yes, thanks, Mark, for your...
Thank you. Well, we have a saying at the high school, and that saying is that together we can. And just like Mr. Serino just said, I always have to follow Mr. Serino, by the way. Sitting at my table, I didn't say anything. I was taking it in, and one of the parents looks at me and says, "That's a tough act to follow." I'm used to it. But anyway, Mr. Serino does an outstanding job, and all of our principals do an outstanding job preparing kids to get to high school and graduate. And our graduation rate is 86% because of that, as well as the support we have. And speaking of together, we can make a difference. I think we made a huge difference at our last election where we had overwhelming support of 60% from the community. So we certainly appreciate the fact that you had the faith in us to give us your support and pass that levy. And I think we all deserve a big round of applause for that. When you go to the ballot box and you look at some of the issues that schools have, I think that's just a huge vote of confidence for our schools, and it's exciting to be a part of that. And we certainly appreciate that on a daily basis. And I always say, any day, any time, I don't care what grade your kids are in, if you see something that's going on in the community with our high school kids or something that we can improve in the high school, give me a call. I profess to have a lot of good ideas, but I don't profess to have them all or know everything. Obviously, using other people's ideas is something that, smart people do, right? And, just to quote a very famous person, he said, "House cannot stand divided." So we need to work on a daily basis to work together, come together, share our ideas, share our differences, agree to disagree, go on, and be productive so we can do the best for our kids. And I appreciate the opportunity to do that. Our senior is Colin Lennon.
Hello, I'm Colin Lennon. This is my mom, Vicki Lennon, my dad, Sean Lennon, and I'm in the band.
And our senior student from CTEC is Cheyenne Cheeseman.
My name is Cheyenne Cheeseman. This is my mom, Stephanie, and this is my grandmother, Betty. I want to become an aerospace engineer to build, design, and program robots for NASA, and I want to make my mom proud.
Boy, that's one of those educational sayings. Never do anything you couldn't go home and tell your mother. Our junior representative will also be a valedictorian in the class of 2014, Emma Vogelmeyer.
I'd like to go into genetic research.
Our sophomore representative is Maureen Mugavin.
I'm Maureen. I go by Moe. This is my mom, this is my mom, Rachel, and my mom, Margaret. And I love art.
And our freshman representative is Veronica Williams.
I'm here with my mom and my grandma. And though I go to high school, my favorite school is Heritage Middle School.
Thank you.
Hey, high schools, you going back to sit down. We want to thank each and every person in this room today, particularly our students. What I really want to focus on right now, our parents, grandparents, and friends that are with our students. Because I mentioned our students, you wouldn't be in here today. I want you to look to the right and to the left of you. If those people weren't in your lives, you have good, proud leaders at home. And I would tell that young lady from the high school, by being here today, I'm sure your mom and grandma are really proud of you already, correct? So they're already proud of you, and you should be proud. But I want our students to recognize that the principal sitting at your table, or teacher, and your mom and dad, or grandma and grandpa, whomever's with you today, is a big reason you're in here today. So I want you to give them a hug, and I want you to look them right in the eye and tell them you love them for me. Would you do that? That's high school folks too. I'm a father of 4. I know the hugs are harder to get the older they get. But I would tell you that I am a father of 4, and I do tell my kids I love them every day, because I do. Every time I talk to them, I love them. I'm proud of them. I tell my mother I love them, because I know my mother is a big reason I'm standing in here today. So I want you students to know that. And I didn't see a whole lot of hugs back here. Mr. Serino and Mr. Fulton, did they get some hugs back that way? Okay, good. But we appreciate what you're doing. I've mentioned this before, and I'll keep mentioning this. 6,400 kids in our district, and you're one of 28, right? One of 28 in this room. And that is so special, because it isn't like we only have 28 good citizens each month in our district, and it's easy to pick those citizens out. It's very hard, isn't it, Ms. Cooper? Very hard to select who's going to be in here today. And so you're very special to us and to your parents and to your neighbors, I'm sure, and to your peers in your building, because you're a good leader and you lead by example, or you wouldn't be in here today. And parents, again, we have a lot of good kids in our district, a lot of good kids. So you should be so proud that your son or daughter is in this room. And so let's give everybody a good hand in here. I did that so you could walk in and sit down, and I gave you a little break to do that. Again, Stan, we really appreciate the support of BNC, and every year you're back to support our kids, and we so much appreciate that. And I know that you value education. I know that, and so let's give Mr. Harris another round of applause. And we'll talk a little bit about, people joke to me all the time, because I put on my tweets, and I put out a lot and talk a lot about it's a great time to be a cat. And it's a great time to be a cat. Mr. Fullen talked a little bit about what I was going to bring up today to the community, that, and I'm going to look right in the camera and say we appreciate your support. A positive vote on a renewal of 60% is huge. And I start talking to our group already, right after the election, that yard signs don't pass bond issues or levies or anything in schools. The way we conduct our business passes levies. And I think that's a huge show of support from our community about what we're doing in the district and what we are. And I'm talking about our community, I'm talking about our parents, I'm talking about our students and our staff here. And we're operating, we just renewed, and that's a big word in today's world. We renewed money that was passed in '09 that the Board of Education said would most likely last 3 years. And we renewed that money at no new taxes, and our forecast is in the black through 2017. And so that's pretty good, because even while we did that, we've reduced our staff since '09 in the district. We educate our students about $1,000 less than the state average. Our administrative expenses are less than the state average. And we do that, and our test scores have went up. We got every indicator but one indicator on the report card last year. I mentioned about our graduation rate, and you talk about that being a K-12 issue. I say it's a pre-K-12 issue. It's birth to 12, pre-birth to 12, and we have a lot of people working hard on that to put a lot of programs in that'll make an impact for our kids for years out. You'll see in front of our buildings, we have a lot of signs right now, thank you signs. That's a thank you sign for in 2004, the community passed a bond issue to build 11 buildings, and we did such a good job with that we're actually sitting in the 12th building of that bond issue by being under budget. And so let's give ourselves a hand as a community for that. That's awesome. So when I say it's a great time to be a cat, it's a great time to be a cat. Are you glad to be a cat? Who isn't glad to be a cat in here? Anybody? Raise your hand if you're glad to be a cat. You better get them up high, right? Yeah. It's a great time. So again, and I will talk to you as you go out through there. I've talked to a lot of the parents today. We appreciate what good young people you have in your family and our buildings. And I will look you in the eye and tell you that. We so much appreciate the way our kids are and the great leaders that they are. So go have a good day. It's starting to warm up out there. And so I was going to mention too, boy, I'm glad I'm not the mayor of Alexandria. I've been a superintendent for 5 years here, and I haven't got a broken arm or a shoulder yet out of that. So that's a tough gig you got over there, bud. So in any event, thanks for coming and enjoy your day.